What's the difference between a 10-second, 1 minute, and 10-minute cherry blossom tree in Minecraft? 10 seconds on the clock. Here we go. I really want this tree to be simple, of course, but we want it to still look like a tree. I'm using pink wool as the leaves, and then also using nether brick walls. And there we go. The reason for using nether brick fences is because it does actually look super close in color. It has a slight texture. It looks like it kind of has rings going up. So I think that it works pretty well. But you can see that a 10-second tree is actually pretty easy. That looks pretty decent. One thing I would change is I would add one piece of wool right there. Maybe another one right there. Now for the 1 minute tree, I'm going to be using cherry wood. I'm going to still use nether brick fences, and then I'm going to use cherry leaves. And the 1 minute tree is going to look very similar to the Minecraft version of the cherry blossom, but we're going to have hopefully a little bit better of an aesthetic to it, given that we're going to use these nether brick fences, which for some reason are very hard to place leaves against, but well, I'll do what I can. So it's important to get see this right there? It took me like 5 times clicking on that fence in order to place the leaves. It's very annoying. I really want to make sure we get the core part of each branch's leaves in there so that we have a proper representation of what it would look like. And then now we have this as another individual branch. I had to click on that one a whole bunch of times. Okay, and then we'll try to kind of connect the branches up a little bit if I could get it to place against the nether brick fences. And there we have it. That doesn't look too bad. I'll take it. It needs just a little bit more, I think, right here. And that looks perfect. Now for the 10-minute one, I'm going to be using cherry wood, nether brick fences. I'll use cherry leaves mixed in with pink wool, pink concrete powder. I'm also going to put in some cherry fence gates, and then we're going to decorate the ground a little bit as well. Since this is a slightly bigger tree, I want to actually give it a bit of a root system so that it actually has some roots holding it into the ground. And then I forgot, I'm also wanting to use some nether brick stairs. And the nether brick stairs, what they're going to do is they're going to help create better angles. So you can see right here, our tree kind of goes up, over, up. And if we add in some nether brick stairs, it thickens that up just a little bit for us to be able to have a tree that's leaning rather than just kind of zigzagging around. That looks a whole lot better. Now I'm gonna come up with the branches diagonally like I did before, but we're gonna go a little bit taller. And then one thing I'm going to do though is I'm also going to come off at a diagonal on the other axis. All right, that's looking like a pretty good trunk. I like that. Maybe we get rid of that right there. And then what I'm going to do is add in a couple of the nether brick fences in a few places, giving us a couple of branches to work with. And then I'm gonna start with the cherry leaves. Now with the cherry leaves, same as before, I wanna get a feel for how round our tree needs to be. And so the kind of fattest part of the tree is gonna be right about at this level for this section, because both of these branches are similar heights. So I wanna build out at this level all the way around. That way I can get a feel. And it's okay that it comes up right here. This is gonna be probably the thick part for this branch. So let's come around right here. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to create hanging branches. Branches that are kind of drooping down. So I think this actually, yeah, that works pretty good. We just need to build up the area around it a little bit better so that it looks a little bit more natural. Maybe have that happen a little bit more over here potentially. There we go. Now it's looking a little bit more natural. We want to make sure that the bottom side of the tree is not just one straight flat line. We want it to have parts that come down to different levels, just like the top of the tree. It doesn't just cut off at a straight angle, a straight line. It has some parts that are higher than others. It has peaks and it has low points. We need the bottom of the tree to be like that too. All right, let's get the rest of this kind of in roughly. And we're at a point now where I want to start adding in the cherry fence gates. So I'm just gonna add them to a couple different areas that are gonna be visible, areas that are not going to be visible, and that's going to create the airy feeling, especially with the light pink. Now what I wanna do is come behind with pink wool, and I want to replace it in a couple of places. It's gonna be a lot of where I put the gates. Because of the transition of the pink color, it just helps a lot. I also want to connect it to any exposed nether brick because that will help it connect to the tree. We don't want too much of the pink wool because it is quite dark, and we don't want too many of them inside of one spot. All right, let's add another fence gate right here, and let's switch over to our pink concrete powder. The pink concrete powder is great because what it does is it creates a seamless transition between the pink wool and the leaves. You can see it's quite a stark contrast between the pink wool and the leaves, but when you go from the wool to the powder to the leaves, it makes it much softer, and it kind of creates like pockets of leaves that are a little bit darker, pockets of leaves that are a little bit brighter. Okay, our tree is starting to actually look pretty good. I do actually kind of like the overall appeal that it has. I think it does need to be a little bit taller, just a tad bit. That's looking better. Now let's look over here because it's looking, yeah, quite flat on this side. Let's go ahead and break this up some. We want to make sure that we're not covering up the trunk too much, that the trunk is still visible where it should be. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's come down to the ground. Now, if you look, the petals are all flowing in this direction, sort of. So I'm gonna put a few petals over on this side, just a couple that have fallen straight down. Maybe they're really heavy, but then what I wanna do is kind of create almost like a path, you know, as if the wind has swept them as they're falling. And then what'll happen is it'll kind of taper out in the direction that the wind is blowing it. So we're gonna have light on this side, light right next to the tree, and then it's gonna get really heavy right here, and then it's going to thin out again as we get further away from the tree. I'm gonna add in some pink carpet to the heaviest concentrated spots. We probably get a couple spots right below the tree that are gonna be pretty heavily concentrated with leaves that have swept up and gotten caught on the trunk of the tree. And then let's go ahead and grab the bone meal and let's put some grass and just a few flowers. So we're gonna end up breaking most of the too tall grass and most of the flowers, especially these yellow ones. We get a lot of the yellow flowers. And then we wanna make sure that we don't have too much, like right here, we have a lot of grass all in one spot, and that doesn't look good. We want the grass to be kind of spread out and scarce, present but not concentrated, sort of a situation. That's looking a whole lot better other than the amount of yellow leaves, or excuse me, yellow flowers that we have. Yeah, look at all this. We always get so many yellow flowers. It doesn't look good. Minecraft, turn down the dandelions, please. All right, there we go. We got rid of all the yellow dandelions. This is actually looking pretty good. Since we have a little bit of extra time, let's come behind and add just a little bit extra. with the white concrete powder and kind of give a little bit more contrast, as if it's another color of leaf. Like, because there is pink and white inside of it, it does kind of suit a little bit. Let's come out right here and add this, come out right there, add another one right there. We don't want it to be too much because it is a highlight. That might actually be enough. Right now we have too much of it on the same level, it looks like. So let's go ahead and break that up a little bit. Trade that one. Actually, that's not gonna look good if we have too many in that area, so let's put it right here. And then you can see we have a really flat edge right here. So let's just break that up a little bit more. Maybe create another little hanging spot. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it looks pretty good. One thing I would change is I did not do very much wool right in this area towards the bottom. It seems like we kind of missed out on the wool a little bit. But other than that, I think the tree actually looks really great. 10-second, 1 minute, and 10-minute cherry blossom trees. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, here's another video series that you might enjoy where I'm building mortal engines in Minecraft. That's it for today though, guys. I'm Animus J. I'll see you next time.